Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we have a new session about network technologies in the cloud. But before we start, I'd like to give you a short introduction about me. My name is Lagler-Gruener. I am a multi-cloud architect in one of the biggest consulting companies in Austria. I'm working since 2012 with public cloud, mainly focusing on Microsoft Azure, but over the time I'm realizing it's a good idea to go more broader and also specializing into AWS and GCP. But at the moment, Microsoft Azure is my main point, my main focusation point. You can see I have many certifications in different areas, the most for sure in Microsoft Azure. I'm also since 2-3 months a Microsoft Azure MVP, so I'm really happy about that graduation from Microsoft, and I love to work with new technologies, new public cloud technologies. You can find my social footprint or my social profile on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Xing. I also have for sure my private blog, cloudblogger.at. I have my YouTube channel and I have a separate GitHub account where I store also my source codes from my project from the past, or also some solutions which I've developed for the community. Okay, so enough from me. So let's go to the agenda from today. Today we talk about Azure Bastion. Azure Bastion is a new service, so we have two versions, two SKUs, but we will cover this topic a little bit later. This session is from type Nugget, so it will take approx 30 minutes. It depends on how fast I present my topics. It's from level 200, so not a deeply technical session, so you get an overview. The agenda from today: what is Azure Bastion? First question, why should I use, and what is Azure Bastion? The next one, okay, when we talk about Azure governance, security and so on, which roles are required to use Azure Bastion? Then for sure, one of the most important part for management, for IT management, what's the pricing? What's the pricing about Azure Bastion? And at the end, I will show you a live demo where you can see how you can use Azure Bastion and how you can protect traffic to Azure Bastion. Okay, so let's talk about Azure Bastion. What is Azure Bastion? It's a fully managed PaaS service. This is really important because you don't have to patch anything to think about security for Azure Bastion and so on. This is Microsoft part. It acts as a reverse proxy, so you can use Azure Bastion to connect to your virtual VMs in the Azure cloud over RDP or SSH. You don't need, and this is the really important part here, and also from my point of view, the interesting part here, you don't need a public IP address to connect to the VM from outside your network. You also don't need a site-to-site VPN or a point-to-site VPN to connect to those VMs. How does this work? We will see it later on. Okay, so let's take a look to the architecture. You can see you connect over the Azure portal, over the Azure Bastion host to a VM. In this case, you can see I have my user. The user is connecting to the Azure portal over TLS, and the Azure portal is connecting to the Azure Bastion host over TLS, and then you have the ability to connect over Azure Bastion to a private IP address. The private IP address is normally in the virtual network, where the Bastion host and also the VMs are located. You have also the ability to connect other networks over virtual network peering. So we will see this also in our live demo. Okay, no public IP on VMs, highly important. You have access over RDP or SSH. NSGs are allowed on Bastion hosts. So in my live demo, I have configured NSGs and connect those NSG to a Bastion host subnet. It's easy to provision. It's really easy to provision. So it's not you don't have to do many steps to come to the goal. And it hardens your external access, so you don't need to open any ports, you don't need to add a public IP address to a VM, you don't need a jump host with a public IP address. You can use Azure Bastion, connect over Azure Bastion to a jump host without a public IP address, and then you can go ahead inside the network. Okay, why Azure Bastion? One point for sure is you have the ability to connect over RDP or SSH directly over your Azure portal. You have a remote session over TLS. You don't need, once more, a public IP address on an Azure VM. You have no hassle to manage network security groups. It's protecting against port scanning because you don't need a public IP address for your VM, so you don't have a security leak in this size. It protects against zero-day exploits, and it's hardening in one place only. So keep in mind, Azure Bastion is a PaaS service from Microsoft. So Microsoft will harden the host, will also update the host, will add security patches and so on. And it's all typical browsers are supported. The only requirement what you have, HTML5 support is required for your browser. Okay, that's about why Azure hosts, Azure Bastion hosts, and what is Azure Bastion host. So let's go one step further and talk about security roles. Which roles are required? Normally you only need a reader role on the VM, reader role on the NIC. You need a reader role to Azure Bastion, and if you have a VNet peering, so you have more VNets and you want to connect from the Bastion host, which is located, for example, in West Europe, to a peered VNet located in East US, you have to have a reader role on the virtual network too. It's only required if you have a VNet peering in place. Okay, that's it from the RBAC role requirements. So let's go ahead and talk about the pricing. The pricing, it's really simple. So we have two SKUs. We have the basic SKU and we have the standard SKU. Keep in mind the standard SKU is at the moment in preview. The only difference here is the host scaling. What does this mean? Normally you have in the basic configuration you have two hosts. Each host can have up to 20, depends what you do over the connection, can have up to 20 concurrent RDP or SSH sessions. So in the basic configuration you have the ability to connect to up to 40 sessions in one configuration. In the standard configuration you have normally two hosts. This is the default settings, but you can scale up and add more hosts. And this is also a reason why we have here two different pricing areas. So when we have a look to the basic option, you pay 0.161 euro per hour for each host. You pay for the standard preview 0.245 per hour for each host for the first two hosts which are included, and for each other host you pay an additional fee for, about 1.119 euro. So keep also in mind, when you use Azure Bastion, you also pay for the outbound traffic. In each configuration in Azure, you pay for outbound, exactly also for Azure Bastion. So the first gigabyte per month are free, so it's included. And then it have different areas from 5 gigabytes to 10 terabyte. You pay 0.073 euro and so on and so on. Okay, that's it. So Azure Bastion is not the cheapest service. So normally you pay up to 170 euro for approx for the standard configuration, and you pay approx 150 or 140 euro for the basic configuration. But keep in mind, you have the ability to use Azure Bastion for your remote workers, and then the price is okay. You don't have the ability to stop Azure Bastion. You can remove it for sure. You can provision the service if you need it. So it's also possible you can provision this service over infrastructure as code, what you prefer, ARM template, Bicep template, PowerShell, or what you want. It's possible. Yes, that's it. So let's go to the live demo. What kind of topics do we have? We have, first of all, we provision a Azure Bastion host. So I have a demo environment with 2 virtual networks in 2 different regions, with peering, with VMs, everything prepared for this session. We want to provision a new Azure Bastion host. I want to show you the VNet peering option, what you have between 2 VNets, and also using Azure Bastion on top. And then I will connect to the Azure Windows VM and also to the Linux VM over the HTML5 supported browser. And one topic once more, if you want to add network security groups on the Bastion subnet and also on the client subnet, I will show you how you can use network security groups. It's supported, and how you can restrict the connection between Azure Bastion and maybe a backend subnet, what you ever want. Okay, so let's go to the live demo and I will show you the different points. So here we are in my live demo environment. So you can see here I have prepared 2 different virtual networks, one in East US 2 and the other one in West Europe. I have provisioned 2 VMs. One VM is a Ubuntu 20.0, don't know what kind of version. Another one is a Windows Server 2019. Also provisioned in 2 different regions. So the Linux VM is provisioned in East US and the Windows VM is provisioned in West Europe. I also prepared, also implement SSH key for my East US VM and also store the private key in Azure Key Vault. It's supported over Azure Bastion. Okay, now we want to provision a new Azure Bastion host. It's really simple. What you have to do is, what you can do first is, you have the ability to create a separate subnet. I've prepared a separate subnet in my West Europe virtual network, and you can see here the name. You have to use the name, exactly this name, Azure Bastion subnet, and in my case I'm using a /24 subnet, so you can use a smaller one if you want a 25 or 26 subnet. I always recommend, if you have it, you can use a /24 subnet for your NSG, for your Azure Bastion host. Okay, so keep in mind, create a separate subnet with a peer address range with exactly this name. Okay, so now we can go to, so I will show you now different ways. So you have the ability to search Azure Bastion and create here a new Bastion host. It's possible. You can also go to your resource group back and say, okay, I have here my virtual network, the West Europe. Not the virtual network. I have my VM, West Europe, and you can go to the connect button, use Azure Bastion, and say, hey, I want to use Azure Bastion. Please provision an Azure Bastion host. So the prerequisites, one of two of three are done. So we have the right subnet and so on. And now we can go one step further and create a Bastion host. But I want to show you the old way. So here you have the ability to create a new Bastion host. Click on create, select the resource group, define a name, select the region. In my case, I want to add the Azure Bastion host in my West Europe location. Here you can define the tier. So we have two different tiers. We have the basic or the standard. In the basic configuration, you always have two instances. If you want to use a preview, the standard preview, you can scale up to 50 Azure Bastion hosts. So keep in mind you have to use more than 26, a larger one than 26 subnet. But in my case, I want to provision, it's okay for me, a Bastion host from the basic tier. Okay, then you have to select the virtual network. In my case, I have here my West Europe virtual network. It's looking for the right subnet. In this case, it found the subnet, Azure Bastion subnet. So you have to add this. Now we need a public IP address. Why? Really simple. We don't need a public IP address for our VMs. We need a public IP address for our reverse proxy functionality. So Azure Bastion need for sure a public IP address, but only Azure Bastion, nothing behind Azure Bastion. Okay, so I'm creating here a public IP address. So give another name, pip, click on create, and that's it. That's everything. So validation pass, click on create. It will take approx 10 up to 15 minutes. And then the Bastion host, the Azure Bastion host is ready to use. So here we are. The deployment process is finished. You can see we have two components. The first component is a public IP address for sure. And the second component is the Azure Bastion host. So everything is in place right now. So we can go back to our resource group and you will see the two components. Here's the Bastion host itself and here's the public IP address. Okay, great. Next one is I want to connect to my VM, and this VM is in the same region like the Bastion host. So you can see here VM West Europe is the region West Europe and the Bastion host is in the same region. Okay, so I want to connect to this VM. It's my Windows Server 2019 and I can have here the option to click to connect, use RDB to download the RDP file. It will not work because I only have a private IP address. So you can see here we don't have a public IP address assigned to this VM. So we have only a private IP address. I can connect to the VM when I have a site-to-site VPN or point-to-site VPN. SSH is not possible because it's a Windows VM. And the third option is Azure Bastion host. So you switch to the Bastion host section. You can use Azure Bastion. Yes, I want to use Azure Bastion. Add your username and your password. Click on connect. So a new browser tab will be opened and you can see we have now a reverse proxy functionality. We can use this functionality to connect to the VMs. So we have here our VM with the IP address 10.0.04. Same like this one here. So we are now right now connected to the VM over an HTML5 browser with HTML5 support. So awesome, we can use it in the same region. The second one is it's also a new feature. It's not previous, it's global available. So you can use VNet peering too. So in the past you have to provision or you have to think about, okay, where should I place my Azure Bastion host? And when I'm placing my Bastion host in West Europe, I can only connect to those VMs which are in the same region. But since few months, I don't know how long is it available, you have the ability to connect to other VMs in other regions over VNet peering. So you don't have to configure anything special. I have here my VNet peering. It's a normal VNet peering, so we can open the VNet peering. You will see what I have configured. I have leave it everything as it is. So I don't use any special configuration here. Connect each virtual networks. Keep in mind you have to use different IP address ranges, because if you have the same one, the VNet peering will not be provisioned. And in this case, I have my peering available, and I want to connect to the EastUS VM, is an Ubuntu server, and Ubuntu 20.04. Now it's the right number. Same procedure, go to Bastion, and here's a little bit different. So I don't use a username and password. I have a username for sure, but I have a SSH key, a private key, and this private key is stored in my Azure Key Vault. So I've generated I've generated a key with Azure, with Microsoft Azure, and download the private key, upload the private key again to the Azure Key Vault. Keep in mind, if you want to do this, you have a multi-line secret, so you have to use the Azure PowerShell. You cannot use the Azure portal to generate a multi-line secret. You have to use Azure PowerShell or the Azure CLI, what you prefer. And have here my key vault, my secret with the private SSH key. I click on connect, and I'm now connected to a Linux VM. So you can see here, okay, not this one here, set up tools. Sorry for that. So install the app, the tools. So here we are. I have now here my IP address 10.1.0.4. It's the same like this one here. So I'm really connected to the VM over an HTML5 browser. Okay, so now you have seen the deployment process for Azure Bastion. You have seen the requirements. So you need a separate subnet with a dedicated name. You have seen, okay, how you connect to a Windows VM, how you can connect to a Linux VM in another region over the VNet peering. So no problem, everything works fine. Now, second point, the next point is how you can restrict the network traffic to the Azure Bastion host, and for example, from the Azure Bastion host to a separate virtual network. So in many cases, you want to prevent access to the whole environment over Azure Bastion. If you want to do this, you can do it with network security groups. First of all, I want to show you the network security group for the Azure Bastion host. So let's have a look to the NSG Bastion. I've associate this network security group to the Azure Bastion subnet, and we have different inbound rules. So you can see here I have allow HTTPS inbound for free from the internet to the destination, to any. Allow gateway managed inbound, same port 443 from the gateway manager. So this is the Azure Bastion gateway manager to the network itself. Then allow Bastion host communication. So we have two ports, 8080 and 5701 to the virtual network, and also allow Azure Load Balancer inbound, port 443, and the source is the Azure Load Balancer service. And then at the end, I've dropped anything else. So this is my last rule, 4069. I will drop everything else. So only this 5 ports here are allowed, and all other ports will be dropped. The same procedure in the outbound section. You have here SSH and port 3389 for RDB and SSH, the port 443 for to the Azure cloud, the Bastion communication to the virtual network, port 80 for the get session information. So when you go to the Azure Bastion host, you will see a section about your sessions, and this is the requirement here, so you need the port 80. And I will drop everything else from outgoing from the Bastion host subnet. So once more, we have here the subnet assigned to this network security group. Okay, you have seen everything is working fine. So now we want to go one step further and create a network security group. For example, for the East US 2 location, I've assigned this network security group to the default subnet in 10.100/24. And keep in mind, we have when we connect to the Linux, to the Ubuntu VM, we have the IP address 10.1.0.4. So we want to prevent the access to these VMs over the Azure Bastion host. So what we have to do, we have to go to the West Europe virtual network. You have to go to the subnet and select the port range for the Azure Bastion. So we only want to drop the connection from this subnet. So let's go back, go to the network security group East US 2, add an inbound rule, click to add, say, okay, the source is an IP address range. In this case, I'm adding the IP address range from my Bastion subnet. The destination is any, or in this case, I will add a virtual network. In this case, it's not allowed to connect to the virtual network. The ports I will add here any, and I will say deny, add here 4069, my latest rule, and drop Azure Bastion connection. Click on add. Now we have to wait a few seconds. The network rule, the network security rule will be added to the network security group, and it will be published to the VMs which are in the default subnet. So it will take a few seconds, and then we can test it again, and that we'll see what happened. Okay, so let's have a look to the configuration. So let's go back to the East US VM. Let's have a look to the networking configuration. Let's go to the network interface, or you can see here 4069 drop from source 10.0.1.0/24, drop any connection to this network. Let's try it. So let's go to the Bastion section, use Azure Bastion, so this will work, no problem. But when we use our SSH configuration from Key Vault and click on connect, you will see we are not able right now to connect to the VM, so we have no network connection from the Bastion host to the client because we drop the connection in the network security group section. Okay, that's it. That's from Azure Bastion. So keep in mind, it's a really useful service if you want to connect remotely to your VMs. So it's an admin tool. You can use it as an as a remote proxy, or you can also share the configuration and the functionality with your customers if you want. It's not the cheapest one, so you cannot shut down the Bastion host itself. So it will cost approx up to 170 euro per month. It depends on what you do. But it's a fully managed Microsoft service, fully managed PaaS service for your remote connection. And also one of the important part here is you don't need a public IP address assigned to your VM to connect outside your company network. Okay, I hope you liked the session. I hope you liked this short session about Azure Bastion. Feel free to give me a feedback. If you have some questions, contact me over Twitter, contact me over LinkedIn, Facebook, or write me a comment to my video itself. Have fun. Thanks.